Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video where I just wanted to sit down and talk about why new players leave Titanfall so consistently and so soon. Before we get into it, just remember to subscribe to the channel and follow me over at twitch.tv/Crypt6 where I stream extremely often. The links are in the description below. But other than that, let's get into the video. So, Titanfall 2 has always had a long and complicated history when it comes to player count. Of course, when the game first launched, we had a ton of players, but even that initial launch just wasn't what was expected. The common theory behind this, of course, is the rough launch time that was directly in the middle of the two gaming and FPS Goliaths that are Call of Duty and Battlefield 1. Based off the numbers, it appeared David forgot his stones. Titanfall also had a load of rough marketing that didn't work well. I mean, I only heard about Titanfall because I got extremely lucky on YouTube one day. With the combination of those two things, rough marketing and a bad release date, Titanfall didn't do great numbers initially. But you guys already know that story. Moving on from release, we were able to keep player count pretty high. Of course, not release week high, but the player base was healthy for a while. But as time went on and the game got less and less support, the player base dwindled. We then got our last update and we were left on our own. The player base did its best to hold on, but time was cruel and more players moved on with their lives, and it got so bad that I was looking at my PS4 in my college dorm room, staring at less than 2,000 players and sitting in 10-minute queues just while I'm streaming. Xbox got down to less than 3,000 people, and PC had it worse where they would occasionally see triple-digit numbers. They wouldn't even have 4 digits. Then came the great player boom of 2019. PlayStation gave every PSN member a Titanfall 2 for free as long as they claimed it in that month of December through their PSN account. We saw above 90,000 players on PS4. It was a great and glorious time of having fun with friends and showing new people the game that we love oh so much. We played matches and frolicked with them in fields, and then about a month and a half later they were all gone. Granted, some of them stayed and we had closer to 5,000-ish players, but 90,000 to 5,000? That's a huge jump. So I want to talk about why so many people leave the game and why they do it so quickly. The general new player experience in Titanfall is interesting to say the least. They get into their first match, load up with the R97 because, hey, it's like the R99 from Apex, and they drop into the map. The first match they go up against either other new players or players who aren't very good at the game. They get at least a double-digit pilot kill game and go, wow, that was a lot of fun. Then they get a few more matches in, but in no time at all, they led into a new match where skill-based matchmaking has led a veteran player in. They grapple up on the bridge on Eden and go, wow, this looks so cool. I've never seen this map before. Wait, why is that guy so high up? Why is he going so fast? Why am I dead? And then they get pub stomped for the rest of the match. The problem is this process will continue, and this happens in every game, where they'll have a few good games and then a few bad games. But those bad games, the experience in them outweighs the experience of having a good game. But that's every game. That's not just a Titanfall issue. There are 3 issues that make new players leave Titanfall over other new games and go play other games instead. The one issue I'm not listing is that it is a nearly 5-year-old game. A lot of times people just want to play something newer. But I want to talk about the 3 forces that actually drive people away other than the 5-year-old game thing, because, you know, it happens. But those 3 are skill gap, skill ceiling, and staleness. Alright, so skill gap. When I say skill gap, I mean the difference in skill level between a brand new player and a pro or a good experienced player. There is a huge skill gap in Titanfall 2. If you put a lobby of new players against a lobby of experienced players, the experienced players will win 650 to 100 every single time. And due to the fact that Titanfall 2 has pretty weak skill-based matchmaking, pub stomps can happen a lot, and they do happen a lot. In today's climate with skill-based matchmaking being so prevalent in every single game, people aren't used to this experience anymore and just figure that's the way it is and they can't change that. Back in my old initial video game days of playing COD, I would get stomped all the time, but I would continue to grind and get better at the game to stop that from happening because that's just the way things were. Titanfall 2 feels like it's the last of its breed, where it gets good or die. But even with that mindset, there's still things that cater to new players to let them have a fun experience without being great, such as a Spitfire or AWOL or even the car SMG. New players have tools to help, but they get stomped anyways because the veterans have, over the 5 years, have learned their ways around them. I just feel like today's video game climate with skill-based matchmaking, we've lost the culture of, if I'm getting stomped, I need to get better. And we've now shifted to a point where if I'm getting stomped, the game put me up against the wrong people, which is a terrible mindset to have. But anyways, we're gonna get on to the next point. The next point I have listed is the skill ceiling in this game. This game has a skill ceiling so high that only a few people have truly touched it before. A new player will look around their lobbies, look at content creators, and see how good they are. And when I first saw this, my initial reaction was, wow, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to slide hop. I want to be able to go 73 miles per hour at all times and go around and click heads. But it seems a common reaction to seeing that top tier gameplay nowadays is, wow, I'll never be able to do that. And once people get that idea that they'll never be as good as others in their head, they lose motivation to keep playing the game and making them eventually just leave the game entirely. The last one on this list was Staleness. I put this one here because it actually is a driving force for a lot of people. The simple fact of the matter is Respawn will not be updating Titanfall 2. No matter how fun of a game it is, a lot of people don't want to play a game that they'll never see fresh new content for, so they leave. I personally do think this is a valid opinion to have and a okay reason to leave the game, but the game does have enough content to keep you entertained for years, and the core gameplay loop is my favorite of all time, but it's an understandable issue. And you can say toxic players and all that, but I mean, as far as a community goes, Titanfall has an extremely wholesome community within itself. You have a few toxic people, but the good far outweighs the bad when it comes to this community. There are far worse games with far worse communities that have much more live player bases. Also, you can just turn off in-game chat if you don't want to see anything. But if you're a new player debating going on to Titanfall or anything like that, I can't recommend the game enough and explain how amazing of a video game it is. You should try it. Alright, I believe that is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you like the video and click all the links in the description below, especially the Twitch and Twitter ones. But that's all for me. I will see you guys next week, and thank you for watching.